Hey there, welcome back. I'm going to show you how I make my slip covers for my pillows. I'm making some Christmas pillows, and this method you can use for anytime you're changing out your seasons or your bedroom pillows or wherever you like your accent pillows to be. This method is a great way to utilize the slip covers and not buy new pillows for every season. I'm using this piece of fabric that I had in my stash that I had cut from an IKEA curtain panel that didn't fit my window, so I was able to cut a panel off. But because it wasn't wide enough for my pillow, I'm creating side panels. So I cut a middle, which was about, I'm just gonna estimate 11 inches and a quarter, roughly about that. And my side panels are roughly 5 3/4, but ultimately I want my square to be 19 by 19. And so it really doesn't matter how big the middle or the side panels are, as long as the overall is the size that you're looking for. So I've cut it to side and made sure all the sides were even, and we're gonna take it to my sewing machine. Come along. It doesn't matter what sides are together, so I just picked a side and I added it together, put side by side, and I'm just going to create a seam. And there you have it, a square. Again, it's not a perfect square yet because we have some extra sides. Now you're looking at it, say that's wonderful, but I don't have a sewing machine. You can use some fabric glue and create your seams to, or you can use seam binding that you can buy at any fabric store and use an iron to create your seam. That way you can bind it together. All right, so we're gonna take it to the ironing board and iron it out, and then we'll cut our 19 by 19. Okay, so what I did is this is the back, and I took the extra fabric and I just split it open and I just put my iron directly on the top. And this is just something I learned from my mom as well as my aunt, who were great seamstresses. And it just creates a really nice, clean, flat look in the front. And I don't know if you can see it very good. So it's just like a nice, clean, flat seam. And then it's all ready for me to iron on my iron piece. We're gonna go to my silhouette. I'm gonna go cut out my vinyl, my iron on, and then we're gonna iron it on here, and then we're gonna put the rest of the pieces together. So you're gonna put your iron on before you put the sides and the back. You sew the sides and the back. That way it's just easier to maneuver what you wanna do. All right, so let's go to my silhouette. All right, here we are at my silhouette, and I have my heat transfer on my mat. The shiny side goes down on my mat. This is the shiny side, this is the matte side, and it's gonna go flat. I'm gonna load it up, press load, my arrow up, let it go in there. I'm gonna go to my computer, and I will give a full tutorial on how to completely do this. I have it all set up, ready to cut. And I make sure my material is set for heat transfer as well as my picture is mirrored. So I'm gonna press send and let the machine do its magic. It's done all the cutting. Now I realized after I was cutting it that I probably didn't put it in on my mat properly. And so learn from my mistakes. I wasted all of this. I can still use it for a smaller project, but what I should have done is put my image closer up here. That way I'm not wasting. I can use a larger version for. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to my table, and we're going to weed it out and get it ready for iron on. All right, here I am. I'm just taking my box cutter, X-Acto knife, and just cutting off the excess so it's nice and straight, and that I can use this for a different project. And here's the fun part, the weeding, where you take all what you're not gonna use, and I leave it on my mat just to give me something to have it held onto. And so you'll notice it just comes apart like butter. It's still on my mat, but you can kind of see it's kind of hazy because the mat is foggy. But so I did all the outside, and now I'm going to work on all the inside little black spots to expose what the word is. All right, so here is my phrase. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and wouldn't you agree? Again, I kind of cut off this corner of the L, but I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not going to worry about it. The font is the Skinny from dafont.com, and I'm going to link that below. And the word wonderful, I believe, is Magnolia. Again, I will link all of that in the bottom. And these are downloadable, free downloadable fonts that you can download on your computer to use on your Silhouette or your Cricut. So we're going to get this ready and prepped on my fabric. So all I'm going to do, I have not cut this down yet to the size that I'm looking for. I'm going to do my iron on first, make sure that it's all centered. The great thing about the heat transfer paper, they have this little sticky backing so that you can place it, but it's not permanent. You can kind of shift it around, but it won't move around on you if you're placing it down. So I'm going to just kind of put it down, and then I'm going to measure and make sure kind of it's centered. I'm going to kind of eyeball it. My handy trusty okay, so I kind of have it set to where I want it to be. So I'm going to take it to the iron it on. Make sure whatever HTV that you've purchased, that's the heat transfer vinyl, make sure that you read the directions as far as how long to do it on. I'm using my iron, and I'm going to take the steam off so that it's a good iron on, and peel it off. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll come back. Okay, so I'm so in love with how this turned out. I'm thrilled on how clean it looks, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut the back out and show you how to make it. It's called a pocket pillow cover, and then once I get all that together, I will go ahead and show you how the end result is. So just stay with me. Okay, so here I am cutting a perfect square. I had extra material, and so after I put my iron on, I centered it. I'm cutting it 19 by 19. I noticed here after I started cutting that my rotary cutter was very, very dull. So my scissors came in very handy to help kind of make a nice clean cut. I noticed it was also very crooked, so I just kind of measured it and took off the excess to make a nice clean square. Alright, so right here I have my, I guess you would call this my pocket pieces. There are two panels in the back, and I don't remember exactly the width of it, but I know the length is 19 inches. I cut two pieces out, exact same size, and then I lay it on top of the front of the pillow, and I just even it out a little bit here. And I lay it flat on the top, making sure that it matches perfectly. Okay, so here I am working on the back panels, and I just ironed this here of a ½ inch, and I'm going to sew a nice clean edge so that I can put it on all together and it looks nice and clean. Here we go. So the seam that I just sewed right here will be facing up, facing me right now, and it overlaps the back. So I've got 2 pieces, and this creates the pocket. I have one panel laying down, and I have the other panel laying flat over, and I've overlapped it at about 3.5 inches. It doesn't have to be exact. Based on your pillow, you can determine if you wanted a bigger gap or smaller, if you have a fluffy or skinny pillow. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew it all together, and then we're done. Okay, so it's all sewed, but before I get to that, I'm gonna tell you quickly how I got these pillows. I went to Hobby Lobby after the spring sale, and this was on the clearance rack for 80%, I believe, and so I got it for $4.99. I'm not really into the hot pink and white look, but I thought it was a perfect pillow. I can cut it out and make the pillow fit for my decor. So what I did is I cut it open, but when I cut it open, there was just the loose batting. There was no cover over it. So I went to IKEA. I was at IKEA for another purpose, and there was some pillowcases, white pillowcases for really cheap, I think like 75 cents. So I grabbed a bunch of those, and I created a new cover. So basically all I did is I slipped, as I was taking out the old cover, I put the new cover on. That way no batting was missed, and I just run it through my machine, squished it in there, and created a new seam so that I can have a nice clean pillow cover. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover. Let's fold this out here a little bit. Now you can take the corner here and just snip. Don't snip your stitching, but just snip it so it's a nice clean edge. So instead of its corner, if you don't have much of a corner, then it doesn't really matter, but I like to have a nice clean cut in this. And then let's flip it over. Let's see what we got. I love how it turned out. And I'm gonna go place it on my couch. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. See you in the next video.